So guys, there's really no better introduction than this one, as it perfectly fits the topic of this episode. Hold your horses, beautiful people. Timmy is here with an absolutely amazing episode again, because we're gonna compare a certain legendary horse, yes, a shiny one, with a blue pony. As the first match on which I'm gonna focus the horses on will gonna be my pikemans, and that's Cyrus, Boudica, and Mansa Musa. And the reason why this episode is amazing is because I'm very certain that 90% of you guys actually will gonna have the wrong impression or the wrong answer. So let's do a very short mind game, beautiful people. In the left corner, you are seeing here a very shiny and very legendary horse. And in the right corner, you are seeing a very shiny, what? No, that's not shiny, that's just a blue pony. And you see both attributes from both horses now on the screen. Pause the video for a second and think which one of these horses will be better for my Cyrus. Okay, good. I hope you have an answer. Now let's break this down. So before we do that, we're gonna need a few numbers. Like for example, if we take a random battle report, we wanna see where is this big chunk of damage coming from Cyrus. And it's absolutely obvious it's coming from the might skill damage. On top of this, I really have to mention that whenever you're playing with a setup like this, Cyrus, Boudica, and Mansa Musa, obviously set up the way I'm using it, you're always gonna see this, that the total damage from Boudica plus the total damage from Mansa Musa will always gonna come super close to 50% total damage done by Cyrus. And beautiful people, this is a serious number. And since we are here and we have that armor on the legendary horse, and if you see my stats, and how high my might defense is, you're gonna understand why that armor buff coming from the legendary horse, it's really small. But we're gonna need a second number, and we can get that from Cyrus, and here you really have to pay attention. The hero must be set in a march. Because if we click on the Cyrus, and if we go on the attributes, have a look at the overview. So 802 might, and so on and so on. But these attributes are far lower if the hero is not in a march. And let me show you that, because all we have to do is just move Cyrus like this, take him off the march. We're gonna save this. And then we're gonna go in the list, find Cyrus, and have a look again at his attributes, and you're gonna see there is a huge difference. So here it is all alone. And when we have a look at the attributes, well, that's just only 584 points might. So super important, set the hero in a march. So good, let's have a look now at the overview, because we need exactly this number. All we have to do is to click on might and to see that for each point of might is going to increase the might skill damage by 0.3%. A very important number which we're going to need. And since that legendary horse has also armor on it, for every point of armor I'm going to get a might defense of 0.15%. So now let's go back to the horses, because we want to combine all these numbers in just one of the same type. So beautiful people, 12.3 points might, we multiply that with 0.3, because for every point of might I'm getting 0.3 might skill damage. That equals 3.69 extra might skill damage. And if we add the 6% here, we are reaching 9.69% extra skill damage. Now let's do the same for the blue horse, as he has only 3.3 points of might, and multiply that with 0.3 gives us 0.99 might skill damage plus 8.4, that's 9.43% skill damage. Yeah, isn't that shocking? Because the difference between a legendary horse, which obviously is far difficult to obtain, especially with this trait, and a blue pony, which is far easier to obtain, but the trait also, because you are combining blue horses, the difference is just 0.26% extra might skill damage. And I think I'm right when I'm using the word negligible to describe the difference between this particular blue horse and this particularly legendary horse. Because yeah, beautiful people, the hardest thing to get with the horses is actually the trade, and it's super important one, and you know how strong my account is. And what you're seeing here is, for example, a blue horse which I will not gonna horse around with, because I have traits like the following: the Valor, giving me an extra 6% of hero passive might skill damage, and also on top a 8.74 extra healing. And this is simply perfect for Mansa Musa, and it doesn't have to be legendary at all. Also, if we have a look for Mr. Timur, I'm using the Highland Horse, but I have a purple trait, the Lifesaver. And what else you're seeing, yes, on Boudica, I'm also using this blue horse because it gives me 8.4% extra passive skill damage, my damage coming from the trait, and it's an absolutely perfect horse. And what you also see in here, I have now 2 free golden horses, which I was using before, but as mentioned, the traits are the most important and difficult thing to obtain. Therefore, from my perspective, I'm doing exactly what I'm recommending to you guys. Meaning, in other words, these 2 horses right now are free to be used in breeding. And that's exactly what I'm going to do right now with you guys together. So, let's put the yellow horses in here. And it's easy to see. This is mounted on Cyrus, this is mounted on Attila. So I'm going to take this one, add him. And I'm going to take also the dark horse. And let's breed them. And hopefully with a little bit of luck, I'm getting a good trade. So let's see. Go. Cross your fingers. And now I'm getting a beautiful horse with the Lifesaver. So the hero which has this horse on, after he recovers units, heals in other words, it's going to reduce the damage taken by 4.03% for 3 seconds. And this is huge, and I'm going to definitely change it right now and put it on Mansa Musa. And this trade is absolutely fantastic. Of course, obviously the stats too. Therefore, I'm going to go right away and I'm going to put this on Mansa Musa and replace the blue guy, just like this. Of course, I have to put the adornment also on. And let me show you now the end version. So on Cyrus, I have the following horse. It's a gold one. And the adornment is like this. Worked just a little bit here on the defense. So if we go on intensification, you can also check the attributes. So I'm using here the following. After the mounted hero launches a normal attack, there is a 70% chance to increase the hero's next skill damage by 8.3% for 3 seconds. So it's definitely a very interesting adornment, and I'm gonna have to test it. When we have a look on Boudica, yeah, she still has that blue horse because it's absolutely amazing. And of course, the adornment is a different one. And if we click on the intensification, I haven't worked yet on this one, but it's interesting to see the attributes. And this is the one I have selected, the resistance, because for the first 18 seconds in a battle, the first 3 instants of skill damage taken reduced by 6.23% each, and the damage taken reduction by 4.16%, and after 18 seconds, all damage taken is reduced by another 2.07%, and this is absolutely an amazing one, especially if you are planning to attack an entire rally with your Cyrus setup. Good, let's have a look at Mansa Musa. It also has a gold horse, which I just obtained with you guys. So you see the Lifesaver, absolutely amazing. You cannot have enough damage reduction actually on the pikemen, especially on the contra-attack setup with Cyrus. So let's have a look at the adornment, because indeed here I have worked a little bit. So if we click on the intensification, you see here I have a maxed pikeman defense, 12.40%. Here I worked just a little bit. I'm gonna give you a hint about the health in just a moment. And what you guys also want to see, what attributes have I selected? And again, I have selected the same one. Sadly, the battle reports don't show the horses. In order to see if this actually stacks, I'm going to test this. And apropos a spoiler, because I know there are not many of you guys out there which usually watch a video of mine till the end. And for those of them which actually do that, let me give you a massive spoiler when it comes down which episode I'm going to do next. And boy, will that be a huge one, because you guys remember this panel in which we kept staring at these gems, because you can use march size, but you can also use health. And no matter who you ask, some players say, okay, march size is pretty awesome. Other players saying the health is actually even better. But what everybody has in common, they use words but never numbers. And that's not good enough for me, because in the next episode, beautiful people, I'm going to show you exactly how much march size equals 1% health. And I'm going to do you one better, because I will also going to give you the formula which will allow you to calculate on every step which gem will actually be better between these two, march size or health. And trust me when I tell you, the difference is indeed very, very noticeable. So beautiful people, as always, we are done for this episode. I want to give a massive shout out to Eneba for sponsoring this channel. Again, guys, for those of you which actually do some purchases, again, you see now this link on the screen. You're going to also find it in the video description and in the comments. All you have to do is just click on that link, then log in on Eneba, get your 10, get your 20, get your 30% discount to get far more for your money. And on top of this, you are also supporting, which I believe it's a fantastic channel and definitely one of the kind. Beautiful people, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe, share this channel with your friends, and now we're gonna catch you in the next amazing episode. Ciao, ciao, ciao.